All right, welcome back to the $1 to $1 million challenge. We're start off with $1, trying to get 1% profit every single day until we get to $1 million through sports betting, gambling, investing in crypto, and investing in the stock market. If you're new here, welcome. What I do is basically place bets on sports and gamble pretty much every single day, and I'm trying to invest money to grow $1 into $1 million without doing any of my own work. It's all just free money, basically collecting bonuses from casino apps and everything. So got a kind of big video today, a lot of updates, a lot of changes, a lot of stuff I want to talk about. So hope you are willing to lock in for a little bit. So we're gonna hop into some gameplay shortly here, but for day 532, we do have some sports bets for the day, so I'm going to share those real quick. Those are on screen right now. Overall, we lost $8 for the day. This is back from June 30th, 2026. Yeah, it was a losing day sports betting, but not the worst. Only lost $8, so we'll take it. But yeah, there's proof that we placed those. And then coming back into our sheet here, basically, other than that, crypto went down, which I hold XRP and Bitcoin. It went down about, what is that, $18. And then the stock market portfolio went up about $50. So because we lost a little bit in sports betting, crypto went down, but the stock market kind of recovered us a little bit. We're sitting at $7,778, which our 1% profit pool should be about $78 for the day. Our 4% stop loss would be $311. And we would need to get about $56 gambling today to net 1% on the day. So what I'm gonna be doing today is, I guess we'll just hop into it real quick. All right, coming into the website, we have $125 of USDC, and then we have about $1,030 of Bitcoin for today. Okay, I'm gonna pop this up on screen real quick. It's a picture of a poll I posted in my YouTube community. I think I posted this probably 24 hours ago, so it's a pretty quick poll. But I wanted to see what your guys' thoughts are based on my thoughts. I had a bunch of ideas going forward for the next month or so, and those are the results. Basically, half of you guys said I should pretty much do exactly what I'm doing already, not change much. But the other options, all right, let me get this started first. What I'm gonna be doing today is going for an 81x on Limbo. And I ran the strategy last episode. I ran up $100 the whole way to $1,000. And this worked out very well. So I'm gonna try to run that back. Not gonna be going for $1,000 today. We're trying to get $55, $56. But what I was doing is going for an 81x. I started off with a 10-cent bet last time, and it cooked. I made $60 within a couple minutes. I just kind of ran that up the whole way to $1,000. Crazy video if you want to watch that. Unfortunately, I kind of forgot to record a lot of it, but either way, what I'm gonna do today is take it way down, be a lot safer. We're gonna start with a 1-cent bet, and the reason for that is I think 10 cents with this balance is a little bit too aggressive. Luckily, last time I got super lucky, hit a bunch of 81x's in the beginning, cooked me up to maybe 20 something, 30 something dollars, and kind of just ran with that. But I know that's very one-off scenario where typically it's probably not going to happen. So I'm going to bring us down to 1 cent just because we have $125, and we'll kind of start from there. If it starts cooking, we'll bounce this base bet up and we'll get going. So basically the way I run this is just place a ton of bets, let it kind of go. Realistically, 1 out of 80 bets should hit. Obviously it's not guaranteed, but that's kind of the math behind it. And what I do is once I get kind of close to breaking even, I'll up the bet a little bit. I don't necessarily martingale it. I'll probably just keep adding a little bit to it. So I'll probably go to 2 cents for the next one. There we go, we hit it once. So we'll just stay at 1 penny. Yeah, once I run it to kind of break even, I'll go up to 2 cents. I'll go up to probably 3 or 4 cents, and then 5 cents, and then probably I'll kind of slowly increase it. I'm not gonna martingale it every single time, double it up, but we'll see how this goes. I'll kind of explain as I'm going too, but basically we're gonna stay at 1 penny, run this for a while, and then try to increase it when we need to. It worked out really well last time, like I said, on 10 cents, but I feel like that's really aggressive for our starting balance today. So trying to take it easy. If it starts to work,
we'll let it go, and like I said, we'll increase the bet size. But either way, back to I'm just gonna keep running this as I talk. So this is pretty mindless, pretty easy for me to do. But I ran a YouTube pool with a couple ideas I had. So the 3 ideas were to stop gambling for a month and just do sports betting and investing, kind of see how that goes. And the other idea was to, I'll explain why. Sports betting has been very profitable. We made probably about $1,000 in like 3 months, roughly $200 to $300 a month, and it's been really good. So I was thinking maybe that's probably a good move, just to kind of test that, see if I didn't gamble for a month, and see how like the sports betting kind of works out. I like that idea a lot, but then the content would be kind of boring because I wouldn't be like doing this stuff on camera. I'd be just kind of showing sports bets and talking about, not much movement. It'd just be more like conversational, not much like action going on. The other idea was I don't change anything. I'd use the 4% stop loss, go for the 1% profit pool every single day, and just keep things as is. And then the last idea was to just use this USDC balance because it's only $125, and maybe round it up like 10%, which would be like $12, or just kind of I don't know, just keep the risk of busting very small and not go for like huge wins. So I was hoping people would be kind of in agreement. My number one choice would be to stop gambling for a month and just try to sports bet, kind of see how that goes, and level things out. Unfortunately, that was like the second most voted. The number one most voted was to not change anything, go for the 1% every single day, keep things as is. Like 50% of the votes. So I know, I kind of want your input. I want to do what you guys think is best too. But right now, I think the best idea, obviously I'm doing it today. I'm just going to run with the USDC balance today. I'm not going to try to use the Bitcoin, and I'm going to try to protect that because that should be technically invested. I shouldn't be gambling with that money right now. I'm going to try to grow the USDC balance back up slowly, and hopefully I can move the Bitcoin back into the like investment portfolio in Coinbase and protect it. That's kind of my goal. I think that's probably the best move because Bitcoin's fluctuating a lot. It's been decreasing, increasing. I think it's probably best to try to protect it and let it grow naturally instead of like gambling with it. I think it's like super risky. If the USDC doesn't work out, then we'll move over to Bitcoin and start gambling with that. But I think for the time being, playing with USDC is probably the best move. Let's see, I got a couple other points too. Okay, and basically every time with this strategy that we get a little bit into profit, I'm just going to reset back to the base bet and kind of just keep running it. That's kind of the idea. And then if we can get this up to like $10 in profit, I'll probably increase the bet size a little bit because we have like more money to work with. But yeah, going back to like my ideas and stuff, right? I'm doing a lot of contemplating, a lot of thinking. So we just did the Battle Royale challenge, and I ended up losing like $1,000 with the community strategies that were sent in. And then, I know most of you guys probably seen this stuff, but I'm just gonna kind of reiterate just in case you haven't. We did the Battle Royale challenge with the community, lost $1,000, and then I did at that same time when the challenge ended, I ran a bunch of bonus buys, trying to honestly just kind of catch back up, play a little bit aggressively, and kind of go for a moonshot. And yeah, bought a bunch of bonus buys on slots. They ended up all like busting. They were all flops, so I lost another maybe $350 to $400 maybe. And yeah, it's pretty stupid because slots are the worst RTP out of any casino game. If you're gonna play any casino game, they have the worst risk. You're risking the most. Obviously, there's the very slight chance you make a ton of money off slots, but realistically, over the long term, slots are the most likely to lose money without getting any profit. So that was a terrible idea. I was just trying to make a little bit of like fun content, kind of make it a little bit entertaining and stuff. And yeah, it wasn't a good move. And then last like 2 episodes, so I always record like 2 videos out. So I have a video recorded, that's not posted yet. You guys would have seen that by now. But the one that's currently posted is the video where I pulled out all of my Bitcoin from the vault and lost all of it because I was chasing losses. Broke my stop loss 4%, pulled out all the Bitcoin, lost all of it. And that was really stupid. I broke my own rules. And yeah, it hurts. Luckily, I recovered it, which is the video that's not posted yet. But I ended up recovering all that money using the strategy I'm using today. So we'll see how this goes. That's why I'm kind of running it back. It did really well last time. So, if I was running 10-cent bets right now, I'd be up like $25. But I think that's a little bit aggressive. I'm trying to be a little bit safer now, and I'll get kind of more into that in a second. But yeah, I realized I've been playing really aggressively. I've been kind of lost the plot is probably a good way of putting it. I've been playing very aggressively, trying to make more like entertaining content. And I got a lot of comments on the video where I put out all the money from the vault. And luckily, I respect you guys so much. You guys are super supportive as always. I always get super nervous about posting videos like that and stuff where I mess up and like do some stupid stuff because, I'm trying to be a good example. But at the end of the day, that's not my play style. It's not how I should play. And that's not how I started to play either. So going forward, I realized a couple of things here. Let's go back to 1 penny. A couple ideas I wanted to share real quick. I'll probably speed this up in a second, but yeah, I've been playing very aggressively recently, very like high risk, more like entertaining stuff, trying new stuff, but not like in a smart way. And I haven't been like it's locked in, I guess. I've been kind of just playing for fun, more or less, and not like super locked in on the challenge. Realizing this is supposed to be like, kind of boring. A lot of people said that. Like I've been trying to play a lot different recently, and originally I'd play super boring. And a lot of people are here to see me get to $1 million, not here to watch entertaining content. And I even say that a lot too. I always say I'm not here to like be a gambling content creator. I'm just trying to like grow a balance and make a bunch of money. And I'm not trying to make it like super entertaining. The main goal is for me to get to $1 million. I realized I kind of transitioned off that recently in the sense of like trying to get more viewers to a degree and keep you guys on the journey. And realistically, I shouldn't be doing that. I should be more focused on the fact I'm trying to get to $1 million and documenting my journey doing that, instead of like putting the community as a focus. Not that I'm pulling back from you guys at all. I don't mean it like that. But, I realize I've been kind of playing a lot different, doing the challenge a lot different and stuff. So my point is, over all this stuff I've been considering, I realized I've been messing up. I've been playing wrong, not the way I should be playing, and I need to correct a lot of things. That's why I kind of want to take a little bit of a hiatus from gambling in general and kind of go back and figure out some new strategies. I realized I used to like research a lot of strategies and stuff. Like when I first started the challenge, I'd watch a bunch of videos and do a bunch of research. I'd ask like AI for strategies and stuff. But AI is pretty bad for strategies. I've tried it before, and I'll ask, for strategies. I'll ask for ideas on like strategies to come up with and stuff, and it's usually like, always wrong. I'll even correct it and say like, this sounds stupid. Why would you suggest that? Like, oh yeah, you're right. This is not a good strategy. So, I have to do my own research and stuff outside of AI. It's not that easy, unfortunately. And so I really got kind of locked back into that and, figure out, kind of get back on pace where I used to be. So that's my plan going forward. I'm going to try to, correct a lot of things, do more research, and, change things up a little bit, but in the sense of like changing things from how they've been recently, not changing them in like a new direction, kind of going back to like my old direction, if that makes sense. Changing how things have been over the past couple months. That's what I'm trying to change. Go back to how I used to play. I've been trying to play a lot different recently, and it hasn't been working out. And I got to go back to basics a little bit. So with that said, I'm not going to be taking a month off gambling. I'm going to try to just keep things a little bit lighter, take the risk off. I'm trying to mitigate risk as much as possible. But realistically, gambling has a negative EV. So like obviously over time you're supposed to lose money the way gambling works. So like realistically it's not a good idea. but I think there's a way you could probably manage it with the other stuff that's going on. So I got to kind of put everything together, think about things a lot, and I'll try to figure it out. So bear with me. I appreciate you guys always supporting me though. Never, like I said, I post a video, I mess up, I'm like, that's so stupid. Everyone's gonna probably get like so mad and stuff. You guys are always like super cool and chill and very supportive, give ideas. And I'm also trying to take on your guys' like strategies and suggestions that are submitted. I'm thinking about paying you guys out too. If a strategy does it really well, I think it's, you know, deserving that somebody that helps out grow the balance, they deserve some sort of reward for that. So if I get good ideas and stuff, I'll try to, you know, share some of the profits and stuff with you guys going forward. Lastly, another idea was to do this too. When I used to just do the sports betting or track volume bets on Instagram. I like purely only do that, like way back before I started the challenge, and I would make pretty good money. There was some times where I'd place a bet for the day. So say I placed like a $10 bet and then a $20 bet, and say the $20 bet won and I kind of broke even on the day or something. There was times where I would like gamble back the bet alone, and obviously not try to like gamble to profit, but if I lost a sports bet, I would try to just like gamble that back. That's an idea I'm trying to maybe implement too. Instead of like trying to gamble for 1%, if we're down 4% on the day, maybe it's a good idea just to kind of recover the like sports betting portion. If we lose money sports betting, because that's a way like lower risk, way lower amount. So we'll see. I'm gonna try to do a lot of research, a lot of planning, try to adjust some things, and you can see the strategy's doing pretty good so far, the way I've been playing it. So we'll see. I might increase the bet size soon here. But yeah, those are all my ideas. Those are kind of my thoughts I wanted to share with you guys, and hopefully that all makes sense. But yeah, we're gonna lock back in. It's time. I gotta take a little bit more serious. I haven't, like I said, I've been researching and stuff. I haven't been really trying to grow the balance. I've been trying to be more of a content creator than making the challenge the main focus, because I thought at some point that might kind of like hurt my channel. But at the end of the day, like I always say, I'm not doing this for views. I'm doing this to get $2 million. So that's the goal. I got to focus on that, and we'll see what happens. But I'm gonna speed this up. I'll be back in a few seconds. All right, so got a little bit scary. So I got it up to about $40 at one point. Where's that? About $40. So what I was doing is pretty much trying to get to 50 cent increments. So if I get to like $40, I would run it down and slowly increase by 1 cent until we got to like $40.50 on the 81x. So I would, you know, run down. If we were at $40, the next step I would try to get to is $40.50. I'd run 1 penny the whole way down to, this should be way easier for me to explain, but for example, it's an 80-cent profit on this bet, right? So I'd run it down. If I'm trying to get to, we start at 40, trying to get to $40.50, I'd run this down to $39.70. So that'd be like profit enough to get to our next step. I just kept going by 50 cents every single time we would hit a new high. And I would slowly increase it. So if we went down like 80 bets, I would just go up to here, run it for, you know, decrease this from the current profit, and then I would, you know, increase it once we hit that until we get us back to $40.50, right? Hopefully that makes sense. That was working pretty good. And then we had this huge drop, so we were up like $40 down to about maybe $55 in loss. At that point, I started to martingale instead of just slowly increase. And I swear, we had it starting from 1 penny
to get down to $90 from our high, I had to run like probably close to 1,000 bets. Didn't hit it once. So what I ended up doing is switching over to a 20x from that point. And that's where all this red is down here. Luckily, this last one worked. So what I'm doing is I start off at, I think 5 cents is what I've been doing. Yeah, 5 cents. Trying to do a 20x. Luckily, I did a $3.20 bet, hit the 20x on like the first bet, shot us way back into profit. So I'm kind of tempted to just stop here since we're already up like 20% in our starting balance. But we'll run it a little bit more. If we hit the starting balance of 125, I'm pushing a call for the day. But I kind of want to get this up to $56. So we'll see how this goes. Basically what I'm doing here on this 20x is I'll run this for about 10 bets. I hit, okay. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I will double it up and run it for 10 more. Now it's a 5% chance of hitting. I gotta count these real quick. It's a 5% chance of hitting. So realistically, every bet's individual. It's independent of the other bets. But I'm thinking, we should hit at that point somewhere in there, right? Every 20 bets, you should likely hit it. The best way this strategy works out is if you hit the 20x soon after you double up. If you hit it, so I just doubled up. We want to hit it in the first like three to 5 bets. I guess the first bet would be best. I don't know how many bets I'm placing right now. I'm not paying attention. I gotta count these. We'll do 2 more and double up. You want to hit it like as soon as possible because you're on a bigger bet size. But I'm running them for 10 bets and then I'll double up again. So we roughly just ran 30 bets. 5% chance we should have hit it at this point. So do for 10 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Getting kind of scary. So we're on 80 cents. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. So we ran 40 bets. We haven't hit it once. We should have hit it at least twice, like statistically speaking. So 1, 2, 3. We hit it and we're into profit. We're $25 and now we're $30 because we hit it on like 2 bets. That's how this makes profit. But it gets really scary once you start to go. You can see I dipped, a couple times. I was down like $60. It's down $30 there because it's like a martingale strategy. So we'll see if we can run this up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hit it. So we got a little bit of profit there. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna try to run this up to $56, get 1% profit goal. If I bring this back down to the starting balance of 125, I'll probably just call it for the day instead of trying to, bust this entire bankroll. All right, guys, we ended up doing the last run through. I think we were probably at about $52, 53 maybe. Yeah, we were $53. We needed like $3 from there, and I started off at 5 cents, going for the 20x. Ended up going literally down. I think it was like the last bet, or maybe like one more. I'm not gonna be able to get the whole way down there, but well, I guess if we made $60 on that, yeah, I think it was the last bet. We may have had one more bet because we have another $3 extra. But either way, we had 1 or 2 bets left. I was at $3.20. I was about to call it, and then it hit. So we ended up getting our profit pool and a little bit extra. Very stressful. Yeah, I was about to just call the strategy right there, but it worked out. Yeah, feels pretty good. This was crazy. Took a ton of bets, ton of effort, and mind you, going through these progressions, right? This is how many bets it took to hit a 5% chance. I ran 10 bets, so that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I think I hit on like the first, second, or third bet. So
probably about, what is that? Did I just say 60? I think it was 60, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This would be 7. Yes, like 65 bets maybe to hit a 5% chance. So this strategy is not foolproof. It can bust for sure, but we ended up profiting. I'm entered this in the sheet. We'll move on. All right, so day 532 was a win. We ended up profiting $63.50, and we ended up getting 1.1% profit on the day. Yeah, again, pretty stressful. A couple people said recently too, they don't like me going for those high multipliers, but I figured if I drop the base bet down, gives us a better chance of doing that. And that strategy last time worked out so well, so I figured I'd come on it back, see if it can keep producing the same results. Kind of found out not really, but it has potential. So I don't know how we'll keep running that strategy going forward, but we gave it a shot. Also, for the month of June, we went down a total of 5.4%, which honestly is not too bad. Yeah, we lost $1,000 with the Battle Royale challenge. I busted $1,000 in Bitcoin, ended up recovering it, luckily. So, we went down 13% the one day, came back 14.6%. But yeah, honestly, feels like we lost way more than that. So that's why I track this stuff, because I would have guessed we probably lost way more than 5% on the month of June. So yeah, really not too bad. Ideally, you'd like to be up like 30%. Honestly, probably more towards like 37% if we got 1% every single day. But we'll take a pretty much flat month over being down 15-20%. So with that said, the rest of the episode here, I'm going to go through these days real quick, but I'm probably not going to play just because that was like super stressful, wagered a lot of money, and we got pretty much a 50% return on our bankroll. I think we had 125. We profited over 50% for sure, because that would have been $50. So yeah, we probably got like, I don't know, I'm trying to do quick math. Yeah, maybe 55-60%, something around there. Probably like 55%. So yeah, we'll take that. That's a crazy increase on our initial USDC. So I'm probably just gonna call it there. Kind of happy with that. But we'll run through these days real quick just to give you guys a quick couple updates. For day 533, we did have some sports bets for the day, and it was a winning day. I think we profited like $4 total on the day. Those are our bets. I track volume bets on Instagram. You can get a link to his page in my Discord server if you join there. He posts all his stuff for free. I just tell him every single day. But those are our bets for the day, just for proof that we placed those. Sorry, I messed that up. For July 1st, we had no bets. That's my bad. This is for July 2nd. So yeah, just change the days there. This is for the next day. Yeah, for the day that I'm on right now, we ended up having no bets, and the only changes really were the crypto going up a little bit, and the stock market dipped like $60. And yeah, we had no sports bets for the day. Had $2 in bonuses. So if I just drag these numbers down real quick, without gambling at all, you can see we went down about 0.7%. So yeah, not great, but to get $133 to net 1% on the day, I think it's a little bit crazy with our $188 in USDC. I think we're just gonna take our win for the day. I think I'm gonna try doing that too going forward. If we gotta, I don't think it's like good to force getting the 1% every single day. I don't want to have to make that like a priority. I'd rather just like take a little bit of a loss than end up turning that into a 4% loss, at least for the short term, until we get kind of back on track. So I'm gonna take that little loss. It's really not that bad. It's like a $50 loss on the day. We'll take it. So moving on to day 534. This is back from July 2nd. These are the bets I just showed. I forgot I didn't place any bets for July 1st. So let me show you those bets again, just in case you want some continuity. But yeah, those are the bets for day 534, which is back from July 2nd. And yeah, it was a winning day. We actually have that we lost $8, but that doesn't make sense. I think we won a lot of money there. So either way, we'll leave things as is. I trust the way I enter all this stuff. But yeah, crypto went up a good bit, and the stock market went down another like $35. So if we just drag these numbers down real quick, you can see that we should have to profit $104 gambling today
to net 1%. Again, we went down 0.34%, not that big of a deal. I'd rather just kind of keep things steady and flat than have to risk that. Realistically, we just got 1.1%, and then we just dropped 1.04%. So it kind of negates those things there. You can see that, you know, we went down $18 in those 2 days. I think I'm just gonna take the $18 loss instead of trying to turn that into a $188 loss. So real quick too, actually this does make sense. I can see that our biggest bet for the day here was $25. So we did lose money on the day, even though we had 3 winning bets. The biggest bet did lose, so we lost money on the day. I just went back and double checked that. All right, and then finally for day 535, we do have a couple of things that changed here. So pretty good day overall. We had the crypto that went up about $30, pretty close to $30 there. The investment account stayed flat with it being the weekend there, and we had some sports bets for the day. So we had these bets placed. We ended up profiting about $20 sports betting, so pretty good day there. A little bit bigger bets too, but like I said, I tell volume bets on Instagram. I just take whatever his proportions are to his bankroll and scale them to mine. So, you know, bigger bets, but that's the way it's done. So yeah, good day. Shout out to him for helping us grow this bankroll for sure. And then we also had a bonus for the day. On Fanatics, I had about $26 in credits that I converted to casino credits, and I didn't record it, but I placed it, as you can guess, on a 1.01x on one of those like crash type games, and it cashed out. So we were able to keep $26 in bonuses, and yeah, so pretty good day with bonuses there. I ended up actually getting about $40 overall in bonuses for the day because it is the 4th of July weekend, so there was a lot of promos and stuff, like a lot of free spins, that type of stuff. And yeah, I ended up $40 in bonuses. Didn't record all that stuff just because it's like, I think I had a couple of dollars like here and there in different apps and stuff, so I figured it's not, at this point, not that important to show all that stuff at this point, as hopefully you guys can trust me too. So either way, we're sitting at $7,848, and if we just drag down the website balance here and this column here, you can see that we profited 1.13% on the day, so we don't need to gamble at all. And finally, as you can see in this box here, this is our weekly moving, I guess our weekly return. It's probably a good way of putting that. So we made 2% on the week, 2.2%. Nothing crazy, pretty low return, but you got to think in 1 week, that's not too bad, especially looking at the previous returns here. It's been pretty rough. So we'll take a profitable week. So moving in the right direction. We're ending up at $7,848. So overall in the video, we ended up going up about $70. Nothing crazy, about 1% total over 4 days. But, you know, going forward, like I said, I think it's important to take things a little bit slower, kind of just lock in, go back to some basics, kind of rethink some things. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm here to make $1 million, and I think it's better to take things a little bit slower, kind of get back on the right track, than try to, you know, rush things, force things. And I got to fix my mindset a little bit. I got to adjust a lot of stuff still. So it'll be a work in progress, but I'll be moving in the right direction. So again, I'd rather just kind of grow slowly than force huge movements in the bankroll. Either way, I think this is important to show too. This was on the post, on the poll that I posted, you know, what I should do with the challenge going forward a little bit. Samson left a comment, and I thought this was like, this really changed my mindset and made me kind of lock in a little bit. So, you know, if you stayed this far, I really appreciate you. But I think this is a good basis for the community as well. I think a lot of people probably think the same thing. So, you know, he said I should still gamble every single day if necessary, not change anything, but don't do the entertaining stuff, aka the dumb stuff, which I've been doing a lot recently, trying to be more entertaining, which is a lot of dumb stuff. He said like 3 months ago I was running the same strategy, super boring, you know, I was making small profits and everything, but, you know, the challenge is not supposed to be entertaining. It's supposed to be, you know, smart, boring, growing the bankroll, you know, as making small profits and everything. But, you know, the challenge is not supposed to be entertaining. It's supposed to be, you know, smart, boring, growing the bankroll, and I should keep it as that. And the loyal viewers, which are pretty much everyone that watches my videos at this point, are here for the thrill of the aspect of me, or they're not here. Yeah, they're not here for the thrill of the aspect of trying new things. We're here for the profits and the success. You can imagine it's a thin line between, you know, staying chill with the challenge, trying new stuff, also to improve viewership. But the content's more enjoyable if I win, and that means the same strategy for 15 videos. That's okay. So yeah, I figured I'd show that just to show the purpose of, you know, I listen to you guys a lot. I try to take all you guys' feedback into account, which is kind of tough sometimes to get a lot of different feedback on a lot of different things. But I do read every comment, and it's really nice to see the same people always leaving their thoughts and, you know, giving suggestions, just some input and whatever. I really appreciate you guys, is my point. And, you know, I'm happy with who we have in the community, whether it's small, and I shouldn't be trying to grow it as much. I should be more focused on the challenge. So just giving you guys my thoughts. I know I'm rambling a ton here. Also, another suggestion was to hide the tracker column, which, as you can see, I did this video because obviously I've been focusing a lot on that recently, as I mentioned, trying to, you know, catch up, because we're like probably $12,000 behind the tracker, but that's pretty stupid. I shouldn't be focused on that. So somebody suggested I just hide that for now, which I did. It's still there, but it's just hidden, so I can't even see it. We're not behind. We're still growing the bankroll, still doing good. So yeah, I know it's a lot of thoughts and everything, but I figured, you know, I've been thinking a lot about the challenge, and I figured it's worth sharing all that stuff. So if you stayed this far, really appreciate you. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something. You know, we had a huge dip recently, but we're sitting right here, working our way back. And like I said, at this point, I'd rather just work back very slowly and consistently than force things and risk a big dip like that again. So trust the process. I'm gonna lock back into the process. Here's our stats for our entire bankroll. We made about $1,150 sports betting in the past 3 months. This is not correct, as I've been saying recently, because we moved this money into the website, so the crypto return is not that bad. But our investment performance is about 20% right now in the stock and ETF portfolio. I also went through and looked at this. This is our sports betting profits purely from sports betting over the past 3 months. So for April, we made 4.5%. May, we made about 7%, and June was about 4%. And the reason I'm tracking that kind of going forward too is just to see if sports betting is a bigger move. Maybe I should put more money into that. We'll see. But I just want to kind of keep that as a statistic going forward too. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you learned something. Hope you understand where I'm coming from and can see the vision. We're gonna change things up a little bit and trust the process. So yeah, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment with any thoughts or suggestions. Join the Discord server if you're already in there. Until next time, take care of yourself, don't gamble, and I'll see you guys next video. All right, peace.